Good afternoon, guys. This is Working, bringing you a very quick update on EOS. Hoping you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. We're looking at EOS to the US dollar 4-hour chart on Bitfinex. And last time we spoke, guys, EOS was sitting right above this 786 fib level. It was hovering right on top. I said if price did end up breaking down below the 786 fib or 7.15, $70.15, I said more than likely it was going to come down and hit this demand zone very, very quickly. We could see that price did end up doing that. Price came down, immediately flashed down, crashed to about 6.82, and then was immediately rejected by the bulls. In my opinion, that was just pure manipulation. In fact, if I go in here to the 1-hour chart, guys, we can see that price was just kind of consolidating, moving sideways, slow drip, very quick flash crash, and then was caught, picked right back up. That was just, in my opinion, manipulation, trapped people low. They wrote it down, wrote it right back up almost as quickly as it went back down, and then it continued its natural trend of a slow trickle back down, guys. Excuse me. That was a very, very negative sign that we didn't get that strong bounce and we had no follow through. That lack of follow through immediately was showing me that was just pure manipulation. It just returned right back to where it was, and then just continued the slow trickle down. So sure enough, it did break below the 715, came down, has hit this top of this demand zone here at about between 696 6.60. We're sitting, it's bounced right on top of the 886 fib level. In my opinion, we're going to be looking one of the most two bullish scenarios. If we do, the market is looking weak. It's just looking extremely weak right now, guys. But I can see two possible bullish scenarios. I can see price coming down, creating a double bottom here at about at about 6.82, $6.82, creating a small double bottom, and then starting a possible slow trickle right back up, slow bounce, slow trickle right back up. I guess that would be a trickle. I guess it'd be a rise. Semantics, right? However, I don't think that's going to happen, even though it might, guys. I'll be watching out for it, but I don't think that's going to happen, in my opinion. They could also do a stop hunt, knowing people have their stop losses sitting down here at about 6.75, somewhere thereabouts, guys. We could see them do a stop hunt, come down to 6.75, and then a bounce. But if price does drop below 6.75, in my opinion, I think it'll be a very quick drop to the bottom of this zone, probably 6.60. At that point, guys, the next bullish scenario that I could possibly see is a double bottom of this larger structure. This larger structure starting at, let's see, the low was 6.55, $6.55, this prior low. So I can see price coming down, creating a double bottom. That would be a more logical place for a double bottom, and then a very quick impulse up. So I am going to, I think I told you on my last update, guys, I was going to play a small position right here, expecting a possible bounce, at least in the short term. I'm not going to get greedy. I'm going to play a very slow position. I'm going to start to stack buy orders in between 6.70 and 6.55. I will have buy orders stacked in between the two. I'll have my stop loss set at about 6.40 to 6.43, somewhere thereabouts. I'll probably have my stop losses laddered in between 6.43 and 6.40. As I said, a very, very tight stop loss, guys, because if this thing does drop past that area, we could just be a stop hunt. That's why I'm going to set a little bit lower. They could come down here, create a stop hunt, and instead of at 6.55, we could see a bounce at 6.50, somewhere thereabouts, and then impulse up, guys. That wouldn't be unheard of. A lot of people, they put their stop losses below this wick, as some analysts have pointed out recently, and that's absolutely true. However, if that does end up breaking below 6.50 to 6.45 at the lowest, I think it's going to be a very quick drop to $6. And again, in my opinion, doesn't mean it has to happen. In my opinion, I think it'll be a very quick drop to $6 or 6.75. I think that'll be a fairly decent support zone down in here. It has been many times in the past. We can see our volume profile is showing the same. Very, very decent support zone between $6 and 5.75. If that does break down, guys, then we're going to be looking at this demand zone between 5.60 and 510. That's going to be a very strong demand zone. I do expect this to hold. The demand zone down here, I do expect that to hold. Although I do think $6, if that does break, I would be very, very surprised. But if it does break, I would expect this demand zone, as I said down here, to hold, guys. But we're not there yet. In the short term, we're all eyes. We're keeping our eye on these two possible bullish scenarios. First one here at about call it 680, somewhere thereabouts. And the second one at second possible bounce area would be at about 6.55, give or take 5 cents. So those are the two possible bullish scenarios I'm looking for, guys. Excuse me. If we do end up getting a bounce here, as I said, I'm going to be getting out, probably more than likely just targeting a psychological number of $7. I'll start laddering out between 6.90, $7, and $7. So I'm not looking at any long trades or any long positions at this point, not at all. I'm going to wait to break some trends. This descending resistance line here, represented in yellow, I'm going to need to see it get north of that. That'll be a one sign of a strengthening market. I probably won't play any positions there either, though, guys. What I'd like to see it get north of is this massive descending yellow line here that's been in place since, let's see, since the top of this zone, since about 1080 or thereabouts. If we can get north of that, that's going to show a continued or a beginning, not beginning, that's going to show strengthening in the market, and at that point I'll start getting interested in EOS again. Looking at our RSI, we can see that we are oversold. Possible double bottom scenario on the RSI here. This is the 4-hour. So possible double bottom scenario on the 4-hour RSI. We'll see if that does end up playing out. That would come in nicely with that. Probably hit about 6.82, somewhere thereabouts. So that may come in nicely, may be a possible position. Looking at our daily, I showed you guys this wedge that price was operating in. We can see that it's just recently broken out of that wedge. Very, very bearish sign, guys. Unfortunately, now that could just be a bear trap. We could see a quick entering right back into the wedge, but in my opinion, I'm not playing any positions until I see how that is going to end up playing out, guys. It's just not looking very, very good here at the moment. Looking at, let's zoom in here, look at the hourly. Looking at the hourly, we're kind of getting some mixed signals. We are seeing a little bit of, excuse me, guys. We are seeing a little bit of bearish divergence here on the histogram. We're seeing a little bit of bearish divergence on the stock RSI, on the hourly stock RSI and hourly histogram, guys. That's obviously a rather bearish indication. However, we're seeing a very small amount of bullish divergence on the 30-minute histogram, just a very tiny small amount, and we can see it probably played out with this latest bounce here. So I wouldn't put much weight into that at all. In fact, I would pretty much ignore it. We're pretty much sitting neutral on as far as divergence. I'm seeing no real indication in divergence in one direction or another. Stock RSI on the daily is well oversold. We talked about the RSI. The regular RSI, if we switch over here to our moving averages, we can see that the price is starting to reach the below of the Bollinger Bands here. We can see price has just started to come at the outside of this ascending trend line that's been in place since November of last year. Price has just started to peek its head below. Again, could be a bear trap. So we could see a major bounce coming, but as I said, right now I'm not seeing any indication of it. However, we're reaching the bottom of this daily Bollinger Bands, which could indicate a possible bounce is coming. We're also, if we look at the 4-hour, we're also, let me zoom, blow it up here. Looking at the 4-hour, we're also reaching the bottom of these Bollinger Bands. We can see that the bottom of these bands are sitting right around 680. So again, that would come into play with this the bottom of this 680 zone here, possible double bottom. So as I said, guys, we're going to be watching out for that possible bounce, but I'm not seeing anything yet. I'd like to see price. We can see on the day or on the 4-hour, price has just been unable to break above the 8-day EMA, which is represented in a blue line here. It's just been, on the daily, or excuse me, on the 4-hour, it's just been trying to pound away, trying to get above that 8-day EMA and been unable to, rejected every time. It's a very, very bearish indication. We can see prices well below the 8-day EMA as well on the daily chart. Very, very bearish indication, guys. So things just aren't looking great for EOS at the moment. At all, but we're gonna have to wait and see how these two things play out, guys. As I said, those are the two scenarios we're looking for. Possible bounce at 682, possible bounce at 655, the prior low. If that breaks down, we're looking at the $6 range down here. So these are my quick thoughts on EOS. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. And until next time, guys, as always, please trade safe. This is Working, signing out.